I'm with Kevin May, editor of Travolution. Kevin, can you tell us exactly what your role involves?
Okay, Travolution is actually quite unusual within RBI in that it's a relatively new brand and launched as a magazine only 2 years ago, just over 2 years ago. But my role, and I am the only full-time editorial staffer, is to oversee all the content for the magazine, which is a bi-monthly, to run a blog, which is almost on a daily basis, sometimes 3 or 4 times a day, depending on what's going on, to provide an electronic news service, which is an email bulletin, and also to coordinate all our events from an editorial perspective. So there's a lot there, but we've done very, very well so far.
And Kevin, what kind of things have you done to build up your kind of reputation and impact as a journalist?
I'm not sure if I like the word reputation, but I think I know what you mean. I mean, it was absolutely massive for us initially to make sure that as a new brand in the marketplace that we were perceived to be experts of what we were doing. I think a lot of that was because we were writing about things that were very critical to the way the travel industry was or is developing from an online perspective, which is our area of focus. So one of the things that we did quite quickly was make sure that we were in as many places as possible at any one given time, by which I mean online and going to events and going to as many press conferences and just evangelising pretty much about what we were trying to do at Travolution. And that it took a good long year to make sure that everybody within our industry, or as many people as possible within our industry, kind of knew what Travolution was all about and what we were trying to achieve.
And what kind of online tools do you use to help you in your job?
Well, it's not just online tools as per se. So to make sure we're abreast of everything, I mean, we're using as many different kinds of things as possible. So from an online news perspective, I use an RSS reader, in particular Google Reader, which is excellent. I used to use NetVibes, but every now and again I change what RSS reader I use. And I'm probably feeding in about 200 different sources of information onto that every single day, so I can keep abreast or on top of exactly what's happening in the marketplace. From a blogger's perspective, I monitor what people are saying about us through various different ways. One of the main ones is with technorati.com, which most of you will have heard of by now, and also through Google Alerts. Now, this isn't an advert for Google, obviously, but they do provide some of the best kit for just keeping track of what conversations are going on the web, and it just happens that all these products are free, which is one of the other reasons why Travolution uses them. But things like Google Alerts are fantastic, because I get an email once a day which tells me every time Travolution is mentioned anywhere in Google Groups, in Google News, or on a blog, and also any of the subject matters that we write about, or any of the companies that we write about, or any of the people that we write about. So if, for example, lastminute.com is mentioned in a news story anywhere on the internet, I find out about it immediately, which I can then take a decision as whether we should interact with that news story, if there is the ability to do that in terms of comments, or whether we should be taking that on and creating a piece of news or content or analysis ourselves. One of the things that we've done quite successfully, and it goes back to what Martin was saying about kind of reputation, is we've tried, whenever there's anything to do with online travel mentioned on the web, we try to get involved with that as a conversation. So, for example, if someone on another blog mentions that, go back to lastminute.com again, if Last Minute is talked about on a blog and we've got our own perspective on that conversation, we will then go and interact with it and say, well, actually, we disagree with what you're saying for this reason or for that reason. So that's worked very, very well for us, but that's one of the easiest ways of getting your reputation or your brand out there, is to just make sure you interact with other content providers.